Good morning, everyone. Scott and Josh here with two dudes at a bar. It's a rainy day, but good news is we're inside and dry. Josh, we got a couple hot topics we want to talk about. One in the golf world being, longtime analysts, Peter Kostis, Gary McCord. They get the boot.
Didn't see that coming. I don't think anyone really ever saw that coming. They are the voice of the weekend for CBS and golf.
They are. I've grown up my entire life, watching, hearing, listening to them. I've had a few along the way, Peter Jacobson and some others, but those are the two voices I remember. Always, it's like Jim Nance, right? You expect him at every major. I've expected those two voices over every CBS broadcast.
They keep it entertaining. Gary's more the entertainment. Peter's definitely the more knowledgeable speaker to when it comes to a swing and what a course setup and how a player should do it. Obviously, Gary McCord did have a playing career, but I think Gary McCord there is definitely for the sense of humor to a sport that definitely lacks the big gut-wrenching hits like the NFL or the fast-paced movement of what the NHL has. Gary McCord is there to enlighten the people and keep them entertained.
He is. I still think the best person I've ever heard is David Faraday, but we don't have to go down that road. We know about all the problems. If not, just watch one of his shows. He opens up about pretty much everything anymore. But, with NBC, I saw the problem, right? It was obvious. Johnny Miller's an egotistical, self-righteous, you know what?
Yeah.
No one liked him.
Can't stand him.
Absolutely.
Glad he's gone.
Me too. He didn't even, I don't even think if anybody deserved a farewell, he didn't. He should have just been booted.
Yeah.
These two, however, probably should have gotten at least a half a season farewell last year.
Yeah, again, no one saw it coming. I'm sure the people at CBS were like, all right, we're going to ride out the year, and then we're just not going to let them come back. And I guess that's probably what's hurting the most, not only to fans, but also to Gary and Peter, is that they aren't able to go out there and do their farewell tour that every other announcer has got to do in any other sport. They didn't get to say goodbye to players. They don't get to say goodbye to fans. They don't get to say goodbye to sponsors. People that they've had relationships with for however many years, they aren't getting the opportunity to go out and have one last hurrah at each of these events.
Do you think part of that's just because, they're analysts. They're not, first of all, they're not announcers. They're on the course kind of color commentators at best. But
they still have a big say in what is being done at these tournaments. It's a voice. I get they're not the face of it, but it's a voice that you've come to know and love when it comes to golf on a weekend. You hear it, you know who it is, you know what to expect from them. So to kind of give them the shot in the foot and say, no, you're done, you don't get to go out and do anything, that just doesn't make any sense.
So you said the key words. We know what to expect. That, my friends, is the reason you get canned from any job, especially announcing. Because it's one thing to go out there, know what to expect, but yet have some kind of flair with it. But to go out and be the same thing over and over, minus changing a little bit of vocabulary.
But it's worked.
Well, I think it's worked because the game's worked. It's it's not so much. I guess I don't want to say the people, because in the first rebuttal back is going to be Fox News or Fox.
Yeah.
Joe Buck and golf.
Don't go.
Do not mix whatsoever. That's not even oil and water. That's beyond oil and water.
That just, to me, again. Golf sure doesn't need a shakeup, so you have to put the right person in there, or people in this case, to do the correct broadcasting that Peter Kostis and Gary McCord were doing.
So now we've got Davis Love III joining the team.
Now, met Davis a couple times, spoken to Davis a couple times. Great guy. Love him. Is he meant for the voice of golf on the weekends? No.
Do you think, is it possible that Bones, changes his role? Because who's he with now?
He's with NBC.
He's with NBC. Do you think they go after Bones to get on more of, instead of the on-course view, which I think is a mistake because, he's been on the course his entire career, carrying the bag for Mickelson, to me, he gives you the best view from on the course. But is he a kind of guy that's funny enough or talks enough to maybe switch from NBC to CBS?
No, I think he's landed in a good spot with NBC. I think he would be stupid to go to CBS, especially seeing now how Peter Kostis and Gary McCord were just treated with not being able to say a farewell or just kind of up and can them.
They basically told everyone at CBS, unless you're Jim Nantz, screw you. I don't care. I don't care about you.
Yeah, I mean, Nick Faldo obviously does both. Thursday, Friday, he's NBC. Saturday, Sunday, when it's a CBS event, he's in the booth with Jim Nantz. So you come to expect that Nick Faldo, sure. Speculations and probably something that I would like to see. If Davis Love is going to do it, he kind of, I think, is going to take over the Peter Kostis, very knowledgeable about the game, everything like that. The guy I want to take over for Gary McCord, and people are probably going to disagree, but I think he's done a fantastic job with Jim Nantz commentating NFL, and you know who I'm going to say? Tony Romo.
To be honest, a lot of people may disagree, but I would like that. Because he's got just enough knowledge, right? I mean, he plays. He's tried qualifying. He's played in some Monday qualifiers. He's done some things. He's played in the 2 events.
Yep.
Fared pretty well in his first round. After, when Saturday came, it just didn't quite go as well. But that being said, he's got the knowledge. He plays the game. But he's relaxed enough. And I think today's people, they relate to him. I mean, let's state the obvious when it comes to tournaments and PGA Tour. People get older. They watch. We get it. But that only helps the game of golf for so long. Because even on tour, your commentating is helping deliver a message to the younger generation about why golf is good.
Yeah.
So you almost have to relate to 2 ends of the spectrum. You got to have somebody be able to relate to the kids and to the younger generation, the millennials, Gen X. Well, I mean, they got so many damn names out there. I don't know.
No, I get it.
And then you got to have some for the baby boomers, the people who still like the classical, which would probably fall Davis Love III, right?
Yeah,
falls in that more classic version of announcing.
Yeah, you need a give and take, yin and yang. You need not both ends. I guess you would say both ends of the spectrum, right? You need the kind of down to earth, very relaxed. Golf is a gentleman's sport. You need someone that's not going to get overly excited every time he speaks. He's going to bring you the message of what the players are trying to do and everything like that. And then if you go to Tony Romo, there's that excitement. There's that, Gary McCord energy every time he talks. And it's, 90% of the people that play the golf are not at this tour level, right? Tony Romo is close. He's on the cusp. But I think that side of it there, he didn't quite make it, but he's not bad enough to not ever have a chance. He's going to be able to bring maybe what average golfers want to hear. Yeah, we want to see the pros making lots of birdies and everything like that, but he's also going to bring into what it takes for people that are on the cusp like he is, what it's going to take for them to get to the next level, like you said, talking to the kids and kind of getting a younger generation into watching the sport as well as playing it.
Yeah, I mean, ratings are everything. We know it.
And we see how he does with NFL, so I'd be excited to see him.
Yeah, and I have to think that Jim Nantz is making a push a little bit behind the scenes to say that, because they do work well together. I mean, I don't know if their relationship's as good, off the scenes as not, but it's exciting to see. So, what's going to happen, man? I hate it.
I hate it too. They were 2 good guys. I think they deserve to be treated a little bit better than how it went out. But, we're not in the business, so we don't know everything that's being decided upon and everything. So hopefully they take into consideration what Peter and Gary both brought, and they bring someone that has the energy that Gary McCord had.
I agree. Sticking with the PGA Tour, one thing that's been brought up recently, there's a nice anonymous poll out there taken at the Safeway Classic by pros. No one knows who gave what answers, but one of the questions was, in general, PGA Tour setups are A, too hard, B, too easy, and C, about the right difficulty. Of course, 75% said it's at the right difficulty. I call BS on that because I don't think so. I don't think 21 under for any kind of tournament's the right difficulty.
No, I mean, that's not, again, as a spectator, you want to see people making birdies. I get it. That's what the sport is for. But like I said earlier, 90% of the people that play this game don't make a lot of birdies. So you're seeing a whole different standard of people playing golf and saying, wow, I'm never going to get there. I'm not
unachievable, right?
Exactly.
You just crushed my dreams.
Yes. So you kind of want to find...
I crushed my own, but anyway.
No, I mean, my dream's been crushed for however many years I've been playing this sport. Never knew I was going to get there. Never thought I was going to... Well, I had maybe a thought that I had a chance, but obviously, with the scores that are coming out now, it's damn near impossible to think any average golfer that doesn't have the time and dedication to the sport is ever going to get to, like you said, 21 under for 4 days.
It's your life.
It is. I mean, it's your life. It is. It's their livelihood, and they obviously, once you get to that, that's what you spend your time.
The other part I hate too is, I mean, you see Cooch, Zach Johnson, and some of these guys in some events, certain specific ones.
Yeah.
But man, there's a lot of great golfers besides Brooks, Rory, Dustin Johnson. Yes, they're all talented and great, but that's because we give them 40-yard wide fairways.
It's 40-yard, not only 40-yard fairways, but it's once that ball hits, they don't realize, but people are like, oh my God, he hit it 330. But if you actually look at the numbers,
290 in the air.
carry's 290, 285. That's pretty much average for carry. And then obviously they're playing on sponge fairways that it hits up and then rolls another 30, 40 yards. Technology's not going to change. Everyone wants the ball to go further, wants to carry it further, which I'm okay with. But once it carries, that's where it should stop. Maybe a 5 to 10 yard roll bounce here and there, but this 30 to 40 extra yards is a little bit ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it, you go on any golf trip anywhere else. I mean, unless you're in a drought.
Drought or it's winter.
Yeah.
Our winter here where everything is frozen and the ball, if it's not overseeded, it runs forever because it's like playing on glass.
Right, no, yeah. I would just simply like to see, I'd like to see if people can even change the degree of a tee box, right? Move a tee box even 5 yards to the left in some cases can create a whole nother hole, an entirely different look. And for those who can't change it, don't have the space, simply narrow the fairway. I'm not saying bring the rough up to 4 inches.
No, see, I would. That's what I would do.
I don't think 4 inches. I think it needs to bury, but let's take in physical health a little bit. I mean,
but it doesn't. If it's not overly long, and the long hitters can hit 2 irons, and then the shorter people can hit drivers, then it becomes driving accuracy.
Right.
If the rough is so long, and you can't let the bombers just bomb it, and hey, they can get away with a missed drive, but it's still 340, and they can get it out of the rough. Okay. But if the rough is up, fairways are narrow. The course doesn't have to be 8,000 yards or 8,000 yards long. Right. You can still have it at a manageable 73, 72, and you're still, look at the U.S. Open. They complain about how long the rough is and there and that, but it comes down to accuracy, which is, I think, this sport should be.
That's what we want.
Be accuracy.
That's what we want. I mean, that's what you're trained. You're not trained to hit it as far as you can.
Correct.
You're trained to play well, have a short game. Those are the things that matter.
Yeah. Do you want to take away fitness out of it? No. Do you want to take the long ball out of it? No. But you want length with accuracy, and I think that's what...
But you're not taking the long ball out because those guys who hit it that hard can hit it high enough to cut corners. It's just up to them to take the risk.
Yeah, but there's a lot of courses where you have to cut corners. I mean, it's, there's slight dog-leg lefts and rights, but there isn't courses where if I'm aiming here straight away and the whole bend's 90 degrees to the right, okay, well, I'm going to benefit going over the corners. You don't see that. There's not a lot of courses like that. But again, if the rough is too long and say it is that slight dog leg and they can't take driver and still bomb it down there being the rough, they have to play for the fairway, that's where you're going to level out the field.
You can keep 530-yard par fours easily. Or 530-yard par fives easily. Just narrow the fairway. The long guys will miss, have to lay up. The short guys can go for it. You create the excitement you want.
There's things that can be done that doesn't have to go down with length every time. Just look at the U.S. Open.
Absolutely. All right. Well, that's all for today at Two Dudes at a Bar, brought to you by Hickory Shaft Bistro and beautiful Brunswick Plantation Resort and Golf located in Calabash, North Carolina. Josh, thanks for the time today, and until next time.
See you later.